If you're like me and you've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a very long time, you probably don't remember every single deck list you've ever played. Sure, you probably remember most of the actual decks you played, but in terms of the actual deck list, pretty hard to remember, especially like 5 years later. In today's video, I'm going to try to do just that, and then I'm going to grade myself on how accurate I was with the main, extra, and side deck. The deck we're trying to recreate here is going to be my top 8 regional spirit deck list from 2014, so 6 years ago, and this is a very iconic deck list for me. It was my first top ever at anything, which was really exciting, and this is a deck that I played for a very, very long time. What makes this extra tricky though, despite the fact that I actually have watched this deck profile quite a lot of times, I mean I've watched it on streams and stuff, but what makes it difficult is that this version of spirits was not the optimal version. I'm pretty sure that it was missing many of the key combo pieces that eventually I started playing. There's actually a YCS version of this deck that was like a month or two later that was a lot better. This one though is the one that I topped with. So what we're going to try to do here is just go through here. I'm going to talk through my process, and we're going to try to figure out how many cards I played and how many I can actually guess. Keep in mind here that 2014 was a very different time. You know, decks didn't have as many 3-ofs as we see nowadays, or at least not my decks back then, because I was a very different deck builder, but I thought it'd be kind of fun. So first off, which spirit monsters was I playing? Well, I'm pretty sure that I was playing too many of them, but I know at least like initially what I was using. So I know for a fact, 100%, I was playing 3 copies of Artama and 3 copies of Nikitama. This is like the staple core that you want to play in any spirit deck list, and naturally I was playing 3 copies of both. Where it gets interesting though is that I feel like I was really playing this one card, Izanami. So this card wasn't that great, but basically you can discard a card to recycle a spirit monster. Pretty cool, and really cool as well when you recycle the Nikitama, because you can then trigger the draw effect by discarding it. Also, I believe I was playing, I don't know, would I play more than 1 copy of Yaksha? That's a good question. I think eventually when I cut the Izanami, I actually did play 2 Yaksha, but for this one, I'm not entirely sure. I probably played just 1 copy. I know I played, or at least I think I played 1 Dark Dust Spirit. That'd be like 10 spirit monsters. I think that makes like pretty good sense. I mean, these are all like good cards. What was funny about this deck list though is that I remember that I had like so many normal summons, and I feel like I played at least, I don't even know like the ban list from this time, but I think I played like a Thunder King probably. I think I had like 1 ulti, so I just played that ulti. This deck list was not very good, I'm gonna be honest. There's way too many normal summons, even by 2014 standards, but it was good enough to get me like a top 8 at a regional, so pretty exciting stuff. But I probably played like, I don't know, these ratios are so weird. I mean, deck building philosophies were different back then just in general, but especially for myself, I mean, I just didn't care that much about having consistency, and people played a lot more normal summons back in the day, but I feel like I played at least 1, maybe 2 copies of Card D. Man, what else? I think Trigodia was like a big part of this deck list. I don't actually know how many Trigodia I played, probably like 2, and I know that I played Blackluster Soldier. That was like a huge deal. One of the biggest combos in this deck was that you could make a Lavalval chain using the Nikitama, and then when you detached it to stack card on top of your deck, the Nikitama, as long as you controlled a spirit monster, which usually was pretty easy, you then could immediately trigger that effect and then draw the card that you just stacked. So stacking BLS and drawing it immediately was actually like a really cool combo. Did I play Chaos Sorcerer too? I feel like I should have, but I don't know if I did. Maybe I played 1, and then I think I played like 2 copies of Fecular or something stupid like that. I don't know. We just played a lot of 2-ofs and a lot of 1-ofs. I definitely played like at least 2 Creature Swap. This is like one of the best cards in, well, one of the best cards in Spirits. You basically give your opponent the Spirit Monster, and then in the end phase, the Spirit Monster bounces back to your hand. Pretty cool, I guess. I mean, this feels like a 3-of, right? I don't know, but I probably just played 2. I wasn't very smart back then. Not that I am very smart right now, but I definitely played Duality. I think it was semi-limited at the time. I don't know. This is tough. This is going to look like a lot of 2-ofs, but I think you guys are going to be surprised at like how bad this deck list actually was. Oh, I know what I played. Okay, I know this because this is like one of the only tops with this card. I did play the Silver Sentinel. This card is not very good. I'm not even sure if I resolved it once the entire tournament, but I definitely played at least 1. I know I played only 1 copy of that. I pulled like an ultimate. I just wanted to play it in something not very good. I definitely played Mystical Space Typhoon. How many copies? Who knows? I don't want to just keep putting 2 copies. Putting 2 copies in this deck list feels like a safe option for a lot of these choices, and it is, but it's like, I'm not sure if I really played like that many 2-ofs. I think the traps were like one of the worst parts about this deck was the traps by far. But probably, I feel like there was like a 3-of though. I think if there was a 3-of, it'd be like Duality. I would bet there was like one random trap. I know it sounds terrible, and it is, but one random trap Sun in the main deck. There was probably a Torrential Tribute. I'm pretty sure I even played Mere Force in the main. That's not super surprising, especially for that time period. What other trap cards did I play? I don't even know. Did I play, oh, probably like Bottomless Trap Hole was in there. What other traps? I don't know. I'm a little bit stuck on like the rest of the deck. There's just like so many random cards that like you probably wouldn't have played in 2014, but I played in 2014. I'm gonna move on to like the extra deck stuff and just kind of go through and pick the stuff that I think I played. Obviously, Lavalval Chain was really important for that combo. This was just like a time when rank 4s were just everywhere. I did actually somehow manage to pull 2 copies of 101, which at the time was like $50, $60, and 2 copies of Evil Storm Exciton Knight, which at the time was like $90 a copy. Kage Tokage was one of, if not the most important pieces of a more modern version of Spirits. Like, I say modern, but what I mean is like the one that I took to the YCS and the one that I got like 11th at a regional with. Kage Tokage and King of the Feral Imps, super important for like most of those combos. But I'm pretty sure for this build, I didn't realize how good that was, and I don't even think I played that card at all. Otherwise, I'd probably include like King of the Feral Imps in the extra deck. Not so much right now though, but there probably was like Utopia. I remember that this was like Fire Fist format, so number 103 Ragna Zero was really good. Then also one card that I completely forgotten about, but is actually pretty good just in Spirits in general, is Fairy Cheer Girl. So it takes 2 level 4 fairy monsters, which would either be Izanami or Nikitama is Yaksha Fairy. Yaksha's a fairy as well, not Aratama though, that one's a fiend. And then you can attach material to draw a card. The main combo here is that if you detach a Nikitama while you already control another spirit monster, you're actually drawing 2 cards. So one of the ways that this deck actually was able to beat a lot of the better decks in that event, and just like in multiple events that I played this at against like Heretics and against Mermails are really big, and Fire Fist and lots of other decks. One of the ways that I was able to do that though was just because you gained so much advantage just from drawing so many cards with cards like Nikitama and Fairy Cheer Girl. Those were like some of the most important pieces for this deck. This side deck I feel is probably the most challenging part, just because that's so format specific, and you know there's so many cards that are out there that aren't good like even a month after they were like at their peak sort of popularity, and then they just sort of fall off the face of the earth. But I feel like I was playing like at least the 3rd Mystical Space Typhoon. I'm pretty sure I was playing Full House. This card used to be pretty popular, probably just 2 copies because I don't know how to deck build in 2014 or nowadays. And then I feel like I was also playing Overworked. This card used to be pretty good against Fire Fist. If they have a 10 key on the board, you just do this and like pop all their cards. I feel like I was probably playing that. I don't even know though. There's so many like bad cards. Maybe like more Trap Stuns. Trap Stun was pretty good for this format, I think. This card used to be really popular. At the time, Wiretap was not released, and it wasn't quite like Geargia and Hat and stuff. This is before that, like a couple months before that, so I probably wasn't playing that. You know what I was playing? I'm pretty sure I was playing Closed Forest for who knows, probably like the Gravekeeper matchup or something like that, something really stupid and irrelevant like that. I think I was playing Closed Forest for that reason. Man, this is pretty tough though. This is harder than I thought it would be. I knew it was going to be difficult, but I think it's actually way more difficult than I actually imagined. Would I have played Dust Tornado? I feel like I have to put something, you know? Maybe I was playing Dust Tornado. That seems like a little excessive, like playing Dust Tornado and 3 MST, but there wasn't like Twin Twisters. We didn't have like Cosmic Cyclone even at this time. We didn't have obviously the Lightning Storm or Evenly match, so probably that. No Kaijus or anything. Was I playing Lava Golem? That seems pretty bad, right? Lava Golem seems pretty bad in this deck. It's pretty normal summon reliant. Okay, so I spent some time and I went through, and there were some cards that I felt I probably did play. Solemn Warning and Dimensional Prison were cards that should have been popular at that time, so it makes sense that I would have played them. I also filled out the deck list with one more Effect Filler that brought it to 40 cards. I don't actually feel like I was playing 3 Effect Filler, but I just can't think of like what else. I feel like 3 Effect Filler is more likely than the 3 Chaos Sorcerer that I might have been playing. I'm not even sure if if I was playing 2 Chaos Sorcerer. For the side deck, I added 2 copies of Black Horn of Heaven. This card wasn't that good at this point, but like I've said many times, I wasn't really that good at deck building, and I feel like it's a card that, you know, probably did come up occasionally. I mean, this thing actually would become good like a month or 2 later. You know, it was really good against Geargia for hitting their rank 4 monsters, but at this point, probably not. And I also feel like I was playing Debunk. I really like this card a lot, and this is like pre-Solemn Strike, pre-Called by the Grave, all of that stuff, so it would kind of make sense for me to play Debunk just given those circumstances. So this is what I'm locking in, and then I'm going to take a moment here, and we're going to show the real deck list and see where I was right, see where I was wrong, and then give myself a grade on how accurate I was. Okay, so here is the deck list that we originally had sort of theorized might be close to what I played, and here is the deck list that I actually used. Now, what I'm doing here is that I took out all of the cards that I actually didn't play, and then at the end of the main deck, side deck, and extra deck here, I added all the cards that I missed. Now, in the main deck, you'll see that I got 31 out of 40 cards. In the side deck, I got 8 out of 15, so not super great there. In the extra deck, though, I was really close. 12 out of 15 cards were cards that I played, so that was actually pretty good. So what happened here? Well, I was correct in that I was missing some key cards that I just haven't played in a while that I wouldn't really remember in 2020. The big 3 here are Max C, which I did play a collective total of 3 copies, 2 Forbidden Lance, which is a card that was very popular and that I loved for a very long time, as well as 2 copies of Fiendish Chain. Now, these 3 cards I have not played in a very long time, especially Forbidden Lance and Fiendish Chain. Max C at least was being played up until like 2017 and Dinosaurs and stuff like that, but all of these cards I haven't played in a really long time, so just keep that in mind. That's why I forgot those. As for the other stuff, you know, I was really close. I know it looks like I got a lot wrong in the main deck, but these mostly are just extra copies. So we did play the second copy of Yaksha, that's a lot of normal summons. We did play the third copy of Duality and the third copy of MST, all in the main deck, as well as the second copy of Mirror Force. At least it wasn't Magic Cylinder, right? So this is what the main deck looked like. I think some of the things we were wrong about, we only played the 2 Tragodia, only 1 Chaos Sorcerer, only 2 Effect Failure, only 1 Thunder King, not 2. The most like problematic thing was just forgetting about cards like Maxi, Forbidden Lance, and Fiendish Chain. I'm not too worried about getting like the 3 ofs wrong and putting as a 2 of, or putting a 2 of as a 1 of, like in the case of Yaksha and Mirror Force. The side deck was pretty tough, so we had the third copy of Effect Failure. Makes sense. One card I completely forgot about was Kaku, the Ghost Destroyer. I used to play this card in a lot of decks, and it was really good for like a long time, just against many graveyard strategies. Once again, this is before Called by the Grave, which is really good nowadays, obviously. And then the second and third copy of Max C. So the Max C thing really hurt me with this percentage, because we were playing a total of 3 copies, which is really rough for our overall score. The last card that I played that was kind of weird in the side deck was Skill Prisoner. So this is a card that I was really thinking about, was it Skill Prisoner or was it Debunk? Because basically in my old binder that I used to carry around, I had 1 full page of Debunks and 1 full page of Skill Prisoner. I was really convinced that these cards would be good someday, and they both saw like a fair amount of play. Debunk way more than Skill Prisoner, but I couldn't remember which one I actually used in this event, and I guess it was Skill Prisoner. It's okay. I mean, it wasn't very good, I'll be honest. I think it was like okay against Fire Fist, kind of. So I actually got some like really weird side deck tech from 2014 correct, which kind of blows my mind. I can't believe I actually played like Dust Tornado. What a weird situation. Dust Tornado was actually good. I mean, a lot of people played that card just against other back row decks. Full House was particularly good against hitting like Tenkeys and then all of the other back row. Really good card there. The extra deck, like I said, I was mostly right. This makes sense to me because I played a very similar extra deck for almost every deck that I played at that time period. Even when I switched decks, you know, there was so many rank 4 strategies that I really enjoyed, so it makes sense that I would mostly guess all of this correct. The 3 cards that I missed were the second copy of Abyss Dweller. I guess that doesn't really make that much sense, but I guess I'll play 2. The Black Ship of Corn, completely forgot about this card, but a very important piece of removal before Castell existed. And then Steel Swarm Roach. I think the reason I forgot this one is that I don't think I ever summoned this card in like 3 tournaments with this deck, which is means it's pretty bad. I'm pretty sure this might have been even one of the cards that I cut for like King of the Feral Imps when I added the Kage to Kage engine. So I correctly guessed 51 out of the 70 cards for the main, extra, and side deck, which puts me at a not very promising 72%. That's like a C-, so not terrible for 6 years old, but man, this is really tough. If you guys enjoyed today's video and want to see me do more of these, I definitely would be willing to do that. You know, there's some really old deck lists out there, but this is like like, to me, like one of my first big deck lists, you know, because I actually got a top with it, which was like a huge deal at the time. And this is really when my channel started picking up as well. A lot of people came to my channel for Spirit sort of deck list discussions and Spirit strategy discussions. So this was a pretty big like event for me, even though in comparison to like some of my more recent achievements seems kind of silly just because it's like a regional top 8 and I played this terrible deck list even given like the time period of 2014. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, especially if you watched it all the way through. I know it's not my normal discussion video, but I thought it would be kind of fun. I'll see you guys later though. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.